How old do you have to do a World War II reenactment like this? I get asked this question all the time, and I'm finally gonna give an answer. There's not just one age I can give you where you're allowed to do everything. Different groups and events have their own rules, so it gets a little complicated. So let's start by talking about bigger, more organized events like the one I showed you a clip of at the start of this video. Generally, those events provide a strict cutoff for how old you have to be, but sometimes that can vary based on whether or not you're using a weapon or whether or not you have a parent involved. For example, I've seen some events that say you have to be 18 if you want to participate with a weapon, but if you're 16, you could go into the battle with a parent and be a medic or an ammo bearer or something where you don't have a weapon. Now, even for those big events, if you don't meet the cutoff to be in the actual battle where people are shooting blanks and stuff, you can usually participate in the living history part where you're just wearing a uniform in camp at any age. For smaller events that have less organization, you might be able to participate when you're a bit younger, but it really varies based on the specific event. If I had to give a general estimated outline for how these events usually work, it's you have to be 18 or so to have a weapon. You have to be at least 16 to be in battles oftentimes, especially if you're going in without like a parent or a family member who's older than you. But you can often participate much younger than that if you have a parent with you. I did my first battle reenactment when I was 12 years old, and I got to do it because it was a small private event, and I was with a friend, and his dad stayed with us throughout the entire battle. So if you're 18 or older and you want to do World War II reenactments, great. Look up some groups in your area and hit them up. I'm sure they'd love to have you. If you're at least 16, it's worth a shot. I'm sure there are groups in your area that would take you, but you might want to consider doing a medical impression or some kind of impression where you don't have a weapon. If you're under 16 and want to give it a try, I'd say still reach out to some groups in your area. The worst they're going to say is come back in a few years when you're old enough, and they'll probably be able to tell you what uniforms and equipment you should buy in the meantime. But if you're under 16 and want to get involved in battle reenactments, your best bet is to get your parents involved in a reenactment group. You can probably go to events with them, and a lot of times you'll be allowed to participate in the battle if your parent's there. Whereas if you just showed up alone, they almost definitely wouldn't let you participate. If you're young and thinking about getting involved in World War II reenacting, you should definitely do it. It's a little expensive to get started, but man, it's a lot of fun. You meet a bunch of great people, you learn about history, and you get a lot of opportunities to honor veterans, which is what the hobby's all about. I also want to make it clear that outside the minimum age, anyone is welcome in World War II reenacting. I often get asked like, oh, can I do this if I'm a woman or if I'm a certain race or religion? Or yes, everyone is welcome. There are groups that would love to have you. So contact some local groups and they'll be able to give you more info.